Hey everyone, John Hartley, and I'm here with today's mail. As promised, I said in one of my last videos that I had a couple of eagles on the way, and they came in, and that's all that came in. So this should be a relatively short video. When's the last time you saw me have a short video? I'm not even looking at my camera, put those down in the wrong space. If you know me, you know that I buy a 10-ounce bar every month, and I buy a couple of eagles every month. That's my basic budget for stacking silver as it stands now, but things have changed over the years. So, you know, I used to buy 90% silver, and then I also bought odds and ends silver mostly on auctions. But I pretty much cut out all that. I've cut out all the constitutional silver, and primarily stick to my 12 ounces of silver a month, and the rest of my budget is for coin collecting. Stacking is a relatively small part of my stuff, and that is 14 in the 2018 tube. So we're going to leave the tripod for a minute. Give you an overview of my studio right on the kitchen counter. A little bourbon and Coke. I've been noticing a few people have been throwing out full stack videos, so I thought I'd do one. So they spent a little while pulling everything out of the safe and stacking it around. As I said, I used to buy 90% silver. I would buy it at the local pawn shop. I would buy it on auctions, from proxy bid auctions. Not so much on eBay did I buy any 90% silver. But those are all my halves. There's some Barbers back there. Kennedys, all 90%ers. All those Kennedys are 1964. A few Walkers. 4 Walkers, and a few tubes of Ben Franklin. I have 4 tubes of Morgans. All of these, some of them are in good shape or relatively good shape, but none of them are key dates. And their value, especially when I was buying constitutional silver, we were closer to $20 an ounce. Their value back then was more than silver, but still a lot closer to silver, and there are no key dates. I was buying these on those auctions between $20 and $25, and these are my peace dollars. I have 3 tubes of those. That one is blue. I mean, it's electric blue. It just, camera and the lighting isn't doing it justice, but it's a blue. These are all tubes of quarters. All these tubes are the same size as a regular roll of coins. We got 2 tubes of Standing Liberties, and 2 tubes of Barbers, and then back to the Washingtons. And in the back row back there, those are Barber Dimes. Barber Dimes are not worth unless you get a better deal on them. 'Cause I'll give you an example. That tube is full to about where the bottom of my thumb is, because they're so slick and they're so flat. They don't weigh nearly as much as a tube of dimes or even these mercuries would weigh, because they fill the tube up. All those are mercuries, and then we get into Roosevelt Dimes. At the same time I was buying that stuff, I was getting the auction that I go to doesn't have stuff like this anymore. They've grown in their customers, and they've grown in what they sell. They used to sell anything they could get their hands on, and so I was getting silver real cheap. Nobody wanted this ugly generic silver rounds. Those are all 1 ounce silver rounds. Nobody wanted them, so I was getting them real cheap. These over here on the sides are 1/2 ounces. And the odds and ends in the middle, except for that eagle. If anybody recognizes who made this eagle, I can't remember who I bought it from. It's not marked. It just says 1 ounce on the back. And that was the first piece of poured silver I ever bought. It was only the second piece I ever bought. That one's an early piece from Hi-Ho. When he told me, he said if it's an early piece, they're measured in grams and not ounces. That was, I think, the first time he put stuff up for sale was when I bought that one. But this auction company would pick up stuff like this. Those big ones are like 5.5 ounces. Those are Mako rounds. They're $9.99 silver. They'd have those Happy Thanksgiving bars and stuff like this. The odd 2 ounce generic. I think that's the Boy Scouts. There's a Pope. That's a numismatic conference bar. That's a cool bar. That's an old A-mark bar, 1 ounce A-mark. I picked it up in the auction for next to nothing, less than spot. And that's a Norman Rockwell. They made 4 of these. They're called the 4 Freedoms, and this is freedom of worship. This bar is 100 grains, but it's got a lacquer finish on it for some reason. I don't know if you can tell, but so when the auction company I was going to got a little bit bigger and better, stuff like, oh, I forgot, these are all 1 ounce bars. I did a recent video on that. That had like 6 empty spots in it, so I went out and found 6 bars, which are those silver towns that are on top. So that's 20 ounces. But anyway, when this company started growing, the auction company on proxy bid, stuff like this started to dry up, and anything that was, people were willing to pay more than spot. Plus, you got to pay the hammer price. So I stopped buying from them anything, except every once in a while I'll go on there and buy some numismatics, and that's when I started buying my bars. I got that bar over there from the auction. That's the one, if you hadn't seen, it was an award for some underwriter back in 1993. An old Sunshine Minting bar. And Dennis McCleary is the guy who won. If y'all know Dennis, tell him I got his bar. And it's not for sale. Well, it's for sale at the right price. But mostly I do stackers. I got this month's stacker in the other day. I wanted to make it even, so there's 2 stackers over there, 2 stackers over there, and then in here. Also, so you could see the quarters and dimes behind it. And then every once in a while, I'll buy a different 10-ounce bar if I can't get a stacker on sale. So that's what that is all about. That is 779.25 ounces. And it's not as big as most of y'all's stack, but it's not bad for the amount of time that I've been stacking. Oh yeah, don't forget the few ounces over here. A 20-ounce bar from Scottsdale. I got a 1-ounce Geiger, that little Geiger, and the Glock is not part of my stack. That was a gift from Scully. I sent him the mold for the Glock, and he made me a free Glock and sent it to me. So even if silver goes up and I sell all my stack, the Glock stays with me. I like that piece. So today's video wasn't as long as yesterday's. I don't know how many of you made it to the end of yesterday's video, but apparently the card that I have inside this camera will allow me to record for exactly 29 minutes, because I was just about to sign off and say my regular sign off word, and it cut. Batteries are good. It just cut right off. It. The video was 29 minutes exactly. So fortunately for y'all today, it's not 29 minutes. I have a couple of English coins coming in on order. Got a package coming from Scotland from Big Laurie, sending me a couple of gifts. Looking forward to that. And now it's time to put all this silver back in the safe and get down to a little bit of serious bourbon. So y'all have a good weekend, and until I see you next time, I'm 1042.